What's going on, my YouTube fam? I just wanted to talk to you about a few things because I made a video yesterday talking about The Descent, the new game mode that's supposed to be coming out in the near future. And after I uploaded that video, shortly after, the Division game released all these tweets talking about this delay and that delay. So who knows when The Descent, or if The Descent is even going to come out. But I watched Nothing But Skills' video when he said it's time to let it go. I looked at the tweet chain. So many people liked it. So many people commented on it and replied. And this issue resonates with a lot of people. People really feel like developers need to hang it up because it's done. I mean, you can't fake it anymore. When bugs are this evident, when the numbers drop on YouTube videos this much, it's clear that people aren't really interested in this game anymore. And to have a small team come in and try to take on an amalgamation of what the previous larger team created with the code is too much. It's untenable. It's almost impossible, especially with the specialization revamps. I mean, I became a developer lately, right? I don't know much. I know a little bit, okay? I'm teaching myself coding. And from what I understand, when you have source code and that code is literally set in stone, because when Warlords of New York came out, they did a whole entire Gear 2.0. Everything was changed, right? That code was set in stone for that patch. And it was made by other developers, other coders. They're using a Snowdrop engine, their own proprietary engine. I don't know whether it's blueprinting or literal coding. The difference is that when you have coding, it's like C++ where you actually type in the language, or they have blueprinting where there are nodes that connect to other nodes with phrases that tell you what to do. So it's like visual coding. It doesn't matter which one it is. It's still going to be difficult because let's say you try and change an armor kit from taking 3 seconds to use instead of it being instant. You're going to have to figure out how that affects all of the other nodes and all the other code within that. You got all these different specializations and each armor kit affects them in a different way. This is like a web of confusion, and you have to be a very capable programmer in order to make something like this happen. And I don't know how good these programmers are, these developers in this new team. It doesn't matter how good you are. At the end of the day, the code was created by an entire different team. So even if you're a capable programmer, you're still gonna have to go back and figure out what they did. And those other coders and those other programmers have their own style. They have their own signature of the way that they code. So they may have done something in a way that you may not understand. So then you're stuck on something that you can't figure out. And when you launch it after it's complete, this is where all the bugs come because you missed one step. And that's how it is when you code. This is why it's such a hassle to just change one thing. Some of you guys ask, oh, why don't they just change this? Why don't they just change that? You don't understand how difficult it is to go back and fix a bug, because that bug or whatever needs to be fixed is connected to so many other things that you might not even be able to find, which is why some bugs stay for months at a time because they just can't find the source. When you look at this in relation to a whole specialization revamp, it's untenable. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. Mark my words. If it does happen, I'll be very surprised. But it's at a point now where this game, and I said it before, many times before in other videos, that this game has reached its potential. We need another installment. And people say, oh, why would you want to have another installment of The Division? Listen, man, say what you want. The Division 2 and The Division, just the Division franchise, is a really good franchise. It's a really good game. What game doesn't have problems? The real issue is that we need something new. We need a fresh team. We need people to pay attention to this game. I mean, I love The Division, right? And I hate it. For a while, it's been a love-hate relationship. You know that feeling you get when you find something that changes your life's trajectory? Whether it be the reality of life or family. Well, gaming is a part of life too, so I guess this whole thing is connected. I'll tell you what, when I first saw the Division gameplay trailer, it was more captivating than anything I've ever seen in gaming before that. The future was bright for me. Whatever hardship I was going through in my life at that time didn't matter because I knew that game would give me solace, even before it would release. The build-up is at times the most exciting aspect of a game's release. So whenever they come out with new information or a new trailer or new gameplay, it was all the more fascinating to me. I asked myself, how could a game do something like this to me? Make me feel so captivated, drawn? Then I think, Look at the game modes and areas you can play them in. Then how the builds you make relate to methods used to construct Sun Tzu caliber strategies in order to conquer that match. The real desolation felt on survival that really made you feel alone, and the triumph felt upon killing those hunters and getting out alive with the caches exclusive to that mode. When I look at it that way, I can see how a game does that to me. Only a feeling a gamer can understand. It's only what we're passionate about, just like whatever you're passionate about. It's gotten to the point for me though that I've been inspired to go as far as creating my own game. But that's a discussion for another video. Still, it relates to what I'm talking about right now, because perhaps this for me was a blessing in disguise, you know? The fact of Division 2 being in the state that it is, because it's one of the main reasons I was motivated to make my own. But Division 2 is dry, desolate, and the means to an end of a franchise, maybe. And these are all elements of a game in development that would drive people to hate the Division 2. So let's discuss that side of the coin. Because game developers will never be able to fully grasp how important it is to keep the lifeblood of a game going based on its merit alone, which the Division franchise has a ton of. But it's not about that, is it? It's about the money, and whichever franchise brings in the most. This just so happens to be Assassin's Creed, an IP that's safe, meaning no matter what, the consumer will buy it. Never mind it being repetitious by nature, the consumer will continually buy it nonetheless. Is that what we've come to as a gaming culture? Being subject to mediocrity in gaming because the game that's complex doesn't appeal to the masses? Maybe it's not that we hate the Division, but we hate that it's not being supported the way it deserves. The Division franchise can easily be the face of Ubisoft if they just support it like they do Assassin's Creed. Instead, here's what they want to do. Release games that are free to play with microtransactions, the Division Heartland, the Division Resurgence, and maybe XDefiant. And if they come out with the Division 3, best believe that will only be PvE. It's sad, really. They're destroying the very essence of the Division by trying to cater to what everyone else is doing. Now listen, I'm not one to frown upon evolution in the gaming industry. You know, moving with the winds based on which way it blows. Because clearly the Battle Royale era is upon us, and it has been for a while. It's smart for Ubisoft to do this from a business perspective. And the Division, how it used to be, does not conform to it. But why does that mean we have to give up on it? How it is now is what makes it unique. Why do you think it has, still to this day, such a die-hard following? There are people who comment on my videos saying the Division is the only game I play, despite all the awesome games that are out right now. This game does something to people, and you might want to dig deep and look at what that is. We already have. But the reality is that the developer's priority is money, it's business, and that's what they're supposed to do, but it's a sad reality, and that's all I'm trying to highlight here. And to see how this is going, I've never experienced a live service game being treated this way. The resources are not being allocated here much at all. It's very evident when you really open your eyes. So, tell me your thoughts on this discussion below. That's it for me though. I'll catch you in the next one. Be right out.